All right, good morning. We're taking an outlook. It's pre-London, and we're looking at December 13th, 2012. And we're looking at a price action update here. And we've got a new 4-hour candle, and I want to take a look at this. This is about an hour before London opens. And let me put up the clock here for us. So, I'm sorry, 2 hours before London opens. And basically here, what I wanted to start doing was, doing some live analysis at the 4-hour candles. I think really for now, and that would be 1 a.m. New York, 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. That's all in Eastern time. So, and I will be trying to record these, and this one's being recorded. So what we're going to do here is just go through and take a look at things. Yesterday, FOMC, it's pretty much they're going to print money till the cows come home, I guess, is the saying. And that's really what we're looking at now. So not really a positive thing for the dollar at all, right? So, and we've got to be aware here. So we're going to start with the dollar index today. A little bit different, huh? Anyhow, so we got a green zone here. I'm just wondering today, and I'm really thinking today are we going to break this on the daily, this level, or is this going to be higher or low or not? I'm kind of looking bias wise today for the dollar to head down, and then maybe tomorrow get a little bit of a pullback on Friday. But some people taking some profit, but we have to see. Either way, we're in a little green zone here on the daily, but we have to be aware of what happened yesterday with Bernanke, right? So 4-hour looking like possibly getting set up for the rollback over to the downside is what it looks like to me. Not really. This is not telling me anything on the 4-hour stochastics here. Really price action here. I see a possible topping out at 80, and as simple as that. You really try to position yourself now as close as you can on the majors to the 5 EMA on the pullback to try to get long. Really seems like the play. Really seems like the play of the day. I mean, going short, it's going to take some more convincing. And let's go and look at that. Let's just peer at the hourly chart here on the dollar index. And you see here it's coming off the 21 EMA. Classic situation, scenario possibly happening here. It's looking like trying to higher low, but it's early here. So, it's only 6:12 a.m. London. And I thought this was actually 7. I'm living in several time zones really with trading. Like we all are, right? All right, going to the pound. I'm sorry, the euro. Excuse me. And pretty much, we're up in this red zone. We have the FOMC, and it's pretty simple stuff here, price action wise. What to do today? Long the pullback to as close to the 5 for a double top target. Okay, and it's pretty simple stuff. Try to get as close as we can here and long the sucker till we get up here, take some profit, and then either scale out and hold for a bust out, a Bernanke breakout move, or it'll take some time, I think, and then roll over, and maybe get a short later on in New York or tomorrow, right? And I'm thinking more maybe tomorrow's session, Asian or London or otherwise. But it's simple as that. I mean, I don't really see, you could talk about stuff. I can move around on the charts here, but, try to keep things real simple here is what I'm trying to do in the simplicity of price action. I mean, I don't know how to really put this. I guess, is there really anything else to do except this? I mean, I know there's people that could probably talk about this for an hour, and, I'm just not that kind of person. I'm just not that kind of person. I'm the kind of person to break it down, simplicity, and that'll free up some other time to do some other things, look at some other opportunities, possibly look at some longer term charts. This is all we need to do here is set an alarm close to the 5 EMA, and let's just go look at the 4-hour here. But I want to make it clear that's just the plan. It's a one-line sentence. There's nothing complex about this. And there's nothing complex about trading. That's where it really goes wrong. Trying to get complex, trying to get so intricately detailed, trying to mosaic art the 15-minute chart. I mean, that's where it really goes wrong. And that's from experience, I'm saying that. Anyhow, hourly, higher, lower high, possibly forming. Now, I'd done a video earlier. I'd started a video, and I was messing around with the CPU settings over here. So I had the thing like almost going to like 5 gigahertz or whatever, right? And which is like not the, it was actually the opposite of the plan I wanted to do. But I was testing things out, and so I started to do the video. I think Eric was in the room, and I was talking about this, and I don't think there was any audio on the room side, but the computer just shut off because it was, it's set to shut off at 170 degree CPU. Well, pretty hot there, Fahrenheit, and that's upwards of about 100 Celsius. But either way, I was saying on the hourly chart here, it looks like maybe we're getting the setup to go back down and retest around this hourly 21 EMA that's going to come up, and maybe we'll get a price action long off of that. And I'm not saying it necessarily has to be a price action wickish, but just close enough where it's going to look like the daily 5 EMA. And then possibly what it's doing right here, right now on the hourly chart, would be what it would kind of look like after we get to our target on the euro on the daily chart. So if we go back to the daily chart, and maybe price will get up here and sort of look like it does on the hourly now on the daily. Which pulling back to the 5, that's going to give us a cool trade right there. So, the 5 EMA, according to MT4 and this broker, is 1.3032. I'm thinking, you might get to 40. Remember 40? Remember 130.40? I'd called out as a level yesterday. And we had 3 lower highs there before the Bernanke bust out move yesterday at this level. And I think on the hourly chart here, well, yeah, on the 15 minute, I think right here, anyway, I'm not sure where it was at, but I think it was right here, yeah? Yeah, on the 15 minute chart is where you can actually see a little more action at 30-40 reaction. So, maybe that would be optimal, right? But we can't, you can't deny that this price action here and it breaking that, well, that's going to change some sentiment. So more than likely it's going to higher low this on the hourly, which will be around where I think, the next 2 hours where this 21 EMA is going to be. So just long this sucker here, 45 to 60 is probably more likely than getting down to 30 to 40, which would be more optimal, right? But basically just using the time of day as the entry on this, because this is a pullback entry intraday that you can still peer at the charts every 4 hours and just set an alarm and get into this as a daily price action sort of setup. Price action being off of the 5 retest. I mean, not necessarily the price action per se I show you with candlesticks and so forth, but either way, look at the 15-minute chart. I'm thinking it's going to pull back and then just sort of meet this at level, but kind of higher low. And you're talking 60 to 65. So I'd be setting, set your alarm around 70. That's not a whole lot of pips down, is it? But I think we're going to 31.20. Let me just put it like that. I think target-wise, 31.20, and I think we're gonna have to get to 31.20 before we start rolling over to even think about a short. Any shorts here are counter trend scalpy type things. So that's the euro, and moving on to the pound. I took the note off here about the intraday price action because I think now we're at a daily level here, key daily level, bias long still. I've got. Still got to try the pull back to the 5, and it looks like that's played out today, doesn't it? I mean, it looks like Asia kind of did that. It didn't quite get down there. Well, there we go. 61.13. Let's go over to our 4-hour chart, and we didn't quite get down there, right? But this was definitely sort of what you'd expect, this wiki action, and maybe we get one more and it busts out to the north side. And, I think this is going to go up before it goes down. Let me just put it that way. But, we can't really deny where you're at on the daily here. Looking at the daily chart, I need to, hopefully we can get the upgrade here at the chart bot. It'll be easier during these sessions with audio to also draw. But I think I can handle it okay now. I've been, playing with this a little bit. And yeah, just go away now. Okay, minimize. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So if I hit F11 here, I should be able to draw. And let me try that again. All right. So you see these levels here. This goes further back. And we'll take a look at maybe the weekly chart tomorrow. That's a good day, maybe on Fridays, huh? Fridays and a Monday refresher. But you can't deny where we're at. I just think, we're going to test test the highs here again. Say from yesterday, maybe get a little higher before we turn around, maybe tomorrow for a pullback. But it's going to be interesting to see, and I want to go ahead and bring up the weekly just to show you that. What's the weekly going to look like on the pound? I think it's pretty, critical level here. You see we're at this 200 EMA, and the wiki action. Look at these. These are weekly price action wicks, and they're not the biggest ones, but they're weekly, and so they're substantial. You've got to realize how significant the level we're at now. So the pound is going to be, it looks like starting again after tomorrow, possibly putting the node back up here to play the intraday, because you're going to have to, when this turns around, we're just going to have to see. It's similar to the euro, but I think the euro would drop a little bit, easier to start with. We'll just have to watch it, but really at key daily levels. Longing it still today on the pullback to the 5 or close to it with London price action, even though there's been an Asian attempt. And as we've seen this week, many of the trades that have been working out, we've been talking about in the room. There's been many times here, I know especially on Tuesday, where price didn't come back exactly to where you wanted it, but you still got, it still came into the zone, or came into that level area and gave the signal to continue. But there was a few that just, there just wasn't enough pullback, and there was some euro yen in London, as opposed to New York when we did get an entry, but similar to that. All right, Aussie, same situation, similar to the pound. The stock market had a big problem yesterday in the afternoon, and Zero Hedge was tweeting about that. And he's talking about hey guys, hey Ricky, how you doing? Well, anyway, you can go check out his page. There's a bunch of interesting stuff in there. I don't remember the exact comment, but I don't want to try to off quote the guy, but interesting. He just said basically the stock market was having some issues in the afternoon, trying staying green after the Bernanke comments, turn the lights off or something like that if it can't stay green. But the Aussie is getting up to this level, and it's similar to the pound. I think we're in this period of time where this is getting key, but it's not quite there. It looks like, I don't know what it looks like to you guys, but it looks like this daily candle is going to come up and try to double top from yesterday, minimally, and possibly ultimately in New York test that 106 level. And maybe higher than this. I have this line, this wick action here. Why not test this with the QE 4 through a million, right? There's QE forever now. Why not try to test it once, wick off of that, and then maybe we get a good short on this next week. So we would like to see something. If we're going to get a short, we'd like to see something like this. Maybe it doesn't have to be quite as a rejection wick wise, but look at this daily short signal here. And see, you have to realize that you're talking about, well, how can you make so many pips in the, just trading off the daily charts? And if you see how it's been happening, we're in a trendy market, so everything's easier. Of course, yes, I understand that. But within this short down here on the Aussie, several weeks ago, back in August, you had reloads in here to short, reloads to short. Just keep reloading and shorting with the trend. It's that simple. And then intraday, you're making kind of what you want right there. And then you're still making your bread on your weekly with the daily trades. And you're doing it by the week and not by the day typically. But, you can take profit. Different people take profit out of their account different ways, I guess, right? And I think it's psychologically important the way you do it, but it's got to feel right for you. Anyways, moving back to the issue at hand. Let's see what happens here. I don't think that's going to happen. But this is a possibility if we don't break a higher high today. We're trying the long, so, what's the situation? I could keep the daily chart up here and tell you what we're going to do on the 15 with no problem here. Okay, it's going to pull back. It's going to look a lot different on the 15, uglier. But it's really what's ultimately going to happen, probably. And what I'm looking bias wise is to come up and retest this line and see if we double top or not. Take profit, scale out, and then hold a piece until we get a real turnover signal. A real rollover signal, like on a 4 hour or something, would be convincing at this point. At least an hourly, with all this news and so forth. So, you're going to have to try to get long on this, and no doubt. And really, I think you should be able to get break even with that, no problem. And really, it'll be managing whether or not, you take profit, hold some, or, possibly if you wait too long, it'll come back and stop you out. And we're getting short on a weekly pullback of some sort. But, yeah, for now, I think the euro, the Aussie, and the pound, which for purposes of what we're doing here, that's the only thing we're covering, right? On the majors, is that right? Yeah, we don't have the Swissy up here or anything. Don't have the New Zealand dollar. I think that should be more specific setups, rates, announcements, big news, in the Aussie session and stuff like that. But we can maybe add the New Zealand at some point. But this is really all you need. And really the play is now pull back long. I mean, it's really all three of these, or the two other ones rather, are pretty much the same play first as the euro. Unless you're a scalper, I mean, that's what's to do. And once you go out and start looking at these from a 4 hour and daily perspective, everything starts making a lot more sense, and you start being on the right side with the other traders a lot more. So, like on the euro 4 hour, 5 pullback, that's about the level I was talking about with the daily 5. That would, because you don't really get it typically to go back exactly to the 5. And, on the daily 5, it'll be 5 to 20 pips within that range. And if you do typically get it to go all the way back, well, then there's some extra price action there to look for. But you see on the daily chart. And the Aussie doesn't have as much room to get to the 5. Now, there's not as many pips as being made on the Aussie, but it's been steady hiking north. So, once you're in break even, I mean, you typically stay that way, right? I mean, there has been a lot to stop. Like the pound yesterday, we had a significant pullback on the pound. If you go and look at the hourly chart, it was a 61.8, and it was beautiful, and I drew it up as a long opportunity right here. And, and then Bernanke, of course, took it up, and, there's pips to be had, but it was a 61.8% while we were already, heading up pretty strong. So that was like, wow, this price action here kind of gave you the clue it was going to roll over, using the hourly chart. And then when you get along here, close of the hour, or if you're using the 15-minute, that level, was beautiful, 61.20 for a long, but, it didn't really get up quite into the 62s, but hopefully we'll do that today before we possibly turn around on this. But right now, higher low, higher low, higher low, and let's see what really happens up in here. I think you're talking more, I'm not sure exactly why I'm going back to the pound, but surely there's a method to this madness, right? Maybe something like that if we do roll over. But, be optimal to at least test the high. Optimal. You don't really want to see like a 38.2, 50% pullback off the, coming off highs after the Bernanke thing and then short on the pound. That wouldn't be really the thing to be looking for. But anything is possible, so just be looking for that with the pound. Because, yesterday there was kind of a pullback on it, and I don't know, I just feel that the pound is going to have a little bit more of an issue up in these levels, possibly. So, all right, euro yen. Going out of the daily chart. This is beautiful here. I sent a price action update on Twitter, but I did not email it out about the daily trade. With the profit target on the 108 reload. I'm not sure if anybody got into that in the room, but there was a 108 reload yesterday that at least I took. And, the target on that being 109.26 to 109.56. or 57. Yeah, 57. I have this drawn up here. It's right here in front of my face, and it's broken that, and we're at 8-month highs now. So I think we are gonna test up in this 109.60 level, but if we get beyond that, this could run up to. I think there's like a 30 to 45, 50 pip gap sort of window here on this yen that it could run, and but really, if you were in that reload yesterday and you're still in the daily trade too, hopefully you guys are still in that at least. There's a reload in New York at 106 something, hopefully in that one. But either way, that 108. Getting 150 pips out of the spot New York trade yesterday is not bad. Bernanke of course helping out, but either way, we're going to take profit here on the spot if you haven't already. If you tried to extend that out like I have. But I can't deny that, and we've got several sort of pieces on the euro yen built up now. Just this week. Just this week. Say I didn't really get in down here, and we had the other the smart pip. There was some position building opportunities, but really the extension we've gotten here, would be nice. But I think we're going to have to get a pullback here sometime fairly soon. But keep an eye on that, and the daily, we've really got these minor areas, and of course 110 being psychological, but I don't have any huge red zones, let's put it that way. And I don't have any huge reason to sell it either. So, really it's just pull back buy. And the thing about this one is you're not going to be getting the 5 EMA on the daily. Highly unlikely we're going to pull back there today. You're much better off using the 4-hour sort of EMA situation if you like that path. But just look for a shapely pullback and a price action signal along for continuation. Really, is all you need. You don't really need anything else on this chart, honestly. Either way, 4-hour 5, right? Okay, so we had the entry, then we had the retest of 107 long. New York. Then yesterday the retest of 108 long. Now are we going to get a retest of 109? Well, I'll be honest with you. We had 109 issues here after Bernanke, and we broke that in Asia. So, we might not be coming back to 108.90 like we'd like, right? So let's look at the hourly chart just to see if there's a better place to get in. And optimally here, price action. You're talking here, but I think that it might be a little higher than that. So, I can't say for definite, but sort of a feeling in here somewhere, right? As the possible opportunity to continue. And, that didn't. Let me move that over. There's a little bit of an issue there with the chart shifting around. Anyway, I think we're going to get long again. And, I'd like to see one more good pulse, but this has been definitely the trade of the week. And it looks like the trade of December so far, huh? I haven't, other than oil, oil's been just churning pips out, but it's a different sort of trade, right? It's not the daily get in and, every 4 hours you sort of come back and check on your pips. And, just a daily entry, beautiful. Oil is more of a, this week sort of churning off the bottom, getting pips, taking profit, getting pips, taking profit. But, all in all, both fairly low stress. And that's what we're going to look at next is the oil chart. All right. Okay, so, keep enjoying longing the bottom intraday for pippage. That's what I have note-wise here. And I talked about the daily, trying to higher low here. We've been long in this green area and just making pips here this week. And now, after the Bernanke, we get the price action here in the 4-hour. It's like, ugh. But I tell you, I think we're at another long area here, 86.30. And I think we're going to get long here in Europe, in the European session. So, I'll be watching this. I think this is going to happen sooner than later in New York. I think that's, we're going to come up here, 87, and we're going to make a decision here. This wick area here, I see this as the Bernanke, and I think that all of this lack of data we have about why this happened necessarily. Why did it just keep going up? Why did the stock market go red in the afternoon after he basically announced QE, 4 or 5 or whatever it is now? Well, I don't know, and I don't think it matters that much. I mean, I really still think we're bullish on oil, and I think we're at another good place along it. And I think, we have to look at 89, but at this point, there's some other, there's some bigger bulls coming into the market. There's some discussion about that. So, at least I think we're going to get up in lower high around 87.50 minimally. But I think this is going up. I don't think this is going down. And if it does, I think we're going to get another long opportunity about right here on this. And of course, with oil, I'm talking a little bit longer term. And on the intraday scan screen and so forth, I'll have up, like 5-minute plans or 15-minute plans on oil during high volatility in the New York session. But in terms of just taking a laid-back approach, I think this is going to bounce here, go up around this area, and we'll make a decision. And I think that may happen tonight. So, have to watch that. But you see, you got to be quick with taking those pips on oil sometimes. I mean, this is not the only example, but just be careful with that. All right, and moving on. I don't really see anything else to look at. The pop or drop Aussie yen. On the Aussie yen, I've got levels drawn up here, and you'll see them. But I don't necessarily think it's really driving anything itself. I don't necessarily think it's better than the euro yen trade. I do think that if you wanted to diversify in some other yens, possibly, I don't think you're going to get more pippage necessarily at this point in time. But if something turns on the euro with some bad European news, or we have something with the ECB bulletin coming out here tonight, I mean, maybe this will hold up better, right? But there's no different, trade situation. It's pull back long on the yens, right? Same situation as the dollar. So we looked at the Dixie and gold here. It's going back in this green zone. I don't really have a lot to say about gold now. I'm looking for another price action along daily signal, and I'm going to make sort of a prediction that next week we're going to get one, or like we did on the euro yen this week, right? We're going to get some sort of wickish thing here and maybe go back up. And I'm sorry about this terrible drawing situation here. I will improve this as technology improves itself. All right. Anyway, somewhere in here we're going to get a daily price action long signal, sort of like the one Friday. It would be optimal, and then just hold this sucker right for 1730 first target, and then coming up here next. So 50 to 60 level, and watching price action with maybe some head and shoulders formation. I mean, it's not per se head and shoulders because it sort of dropped down here, but I mean it's close enough, crown sort of looking thing. And so I don't think there. I talked to this is pretty much says short for now, and the Bernanke is working. He's working on the dollar over there, so can't really say we're going to be going long for definite on this. So a daily price action long gold signal would be optimal. Of course I'll be looking at intraday. When I'm talking any time outside of around 8 a.m. New York, I guess. Typically, we're talking on these longer term charts. It's really the play and the bias, but necessarily, I'm not necessarily saying we're not going to get an intraday long for some a daily bread trade, but I'm not saying necessarily you need to be doing that either. There's nothing beyond talking about the 4-hour and the daily chart that a trader needs. I don't believe. Everything else is sort of bread and butter, and if you're having problems on the lower ones, then there's no point, even messing around with it. But there's been some decent cherry picking action, like on oil and so forth intraday, and so why not? And at the same time, everything's been going nice and smooth with the majors and the yen. So it's opportunity there for some energy. Everything requires energy here in the third dimension, right? energy here to put in a look in something like that. But we're gonna get this is gonna change, ladies and gentlemen. This is not gonna go on forever. We're gonna get in a situation where um, we're not riding some daily stuff, and we're gonna have to scrap around for some pips, and that's the point where you're gonna see me taking less trades, and it's just a situation now where there's a lot more 15-minute opportunities to get in with the trend, as opposed to when if this thing tries to turn around, it might not be pretty for a couple days, and it's going to consolidate. Maybe we don't know news-wise what may happen, but if that situation occurs, and that you can say that situation is often in the forex market, right? Then it's going to be a lot more. You're going to have to use your intraday, or you're going to have to just take less trades, and the second being the higher probability option, right? So, and there's still being a few trades. I'm not, it's not like there's not going to be anything, but I for purposes of doing this daily price action sort of, going off of that. I mean, we've taken a lot of trades this week, haven't we? A lot. I mean, quite a few. Lots of intraday setups I've been drawing on the charts. I mean, I've really been around a lot more than I initially thought I would be, but and there's been just a lot of opportunities to get in different stuff, and we're only looking at 9 pairs here. So you might have, and we've talked about it before in other rooms, but you might have 30 charts up, some people, and boy, I've sort of ballooned up like that, and I'm PK zipping myself back down, shrinking things down, and theoretically here, all I need is this screen you're looking at to make a really decent pippage per day in even the intraday. I don't really need anything more than this screen, and I just save this screen out to the scan screen, and I switch the scan screen out with all these levels, right, to an hourly or 15-minute. That's what we've been doing, and I've been taking trades. Obviously, I haven't been talking about, but there's been some good opportunities. So when this stuff turns around, it's not going to be as pretty, and not going to be as many pips, but there'll be more of like the 30 to 50 pippers, as opposed to the 60 to 90 pippers, right? So, typical averages sort of thing. So, yeah, all the averages are the same with everything. All right, so that's going to be it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and post this on YouTube, and we'll see if the processor holds up and try to do that. And typically I have to see what the analysis was, but I'm thinking starting around 1 a.m. New York, and maybe one other time a day. I don't know, about 3 times, but around each candle close, around the hourly during time of day, like the London session 8 a.m. to 10 or 11, and then New York morning to 10 or 11 a.m. I'll just be at the chartbot charts here, and won't necessarily be on the mic, but I'll be drawing up stuff and putting up plans and looking at things, and I'll try to do it in a coordinated manner where if I pull up a Euro Yen chart on the 15-minute and draw some stuff up, well, that's obviously you can take that as, well, there may be a trade set up there, right? So it's kind of a lot of analysis without necessarily getting on the mic and everything. So I think I really we spent more time today than typically I'd planned on the hourly chart, even for setups here. So definitely the outlook for the day should be at your 4-hour and daily, I would think, and definitely has been working out good for me. And then you can check the intraday stuff out. But on the intraday charts, I'll be drawing stuff up around the close of the hourly candles, and then a little more extensive around the close of the 4-hour candles, right? Because that's you're gonna see more volatility on your hourly candles around the same time of 4-hour closes, where most brokers using the 5 p.m. New York close. So keep an eye on that. And there's the plans up on the screen. Pullback longs on the euro, on the yens and dollar, and gold maybe intraday set up later. Oil. Try to pick this off the bottom, higher low setup in Europe here, possibly within the next 20 pips, and maybe for a nice trade there. So, all right, guys, I'll post this, and I'll just be hanging around here. Try to put the news back on later.